Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today's topic is muscles of mastication. In the last video we have seen the boundaries, contents of infratemporal and temporal fossa. So now we will continue with the muscles of mastication, which is an important essay for you. Those who have not subscribed to the channel, subscribe now so that you will receive the continuation of the head and neck classes, histology, embryology and also neuroanatomy. Have you observed in our channel we have added a new playlist called Important Anatomy in 50 videos. If you cover the 50 videos, you will be able to cover 60 to 70% of the anatomy questions for the university exams. So please do subscribe now and keep watching the videos. Now we will move on to the topic muscles of mastication. Definition you see, muscles of mastication refer only to the four muscles which move the mandible rather than all the muscles of mastication. That means not only these four muscles help in mastication, if you see, other muscles also help. For example, buccinator, which is the facial muscle, and also the tongue muscles, the palatine muscles, they all help in the mastication. But this muscles of mastication definition refer to only to the four muscles which move the mandible or which move the temporomandibular joint. The four muscles are the masseter, which is present superficially, and the second one is the temporalis in the temporal fossa, and the third one is the lateral pterygoid, and deeper one is the medial pterygoid. So these last two muscles are present in the infratemporal fossa. Temporalis is present in the temporal fossa, and lateral pterygoid and medial pterygoid are present in the infratemporal fossa. Now we will start with the masseter muscle. This muscles of mastication may be asked as the essay, or the separate muscles may be asked as the short notes for you. Masseter. Masseter means chewer. Chewer, chewer. So that is the meaning of masseter. If you see the masseter muscle, it will take origin from this arch. What is this arch? Zygomatic arch, and it will be inserted to the outer surface of the ramus of the mandible. So this is the shape of the masseter muscle, which is quadrilateral. So if you see not only the masseter, it is easy to remember all the muscles of mastication, they are inserted to the mandible. So origin only you have to learn separately. All will be inserted to the mandible. Masseter means chewer. It's a quadrilateral muscle. Consists of three layers: superficial, middle and deep. From the lower border of the zygomatic arch and the inner surface of the zygomatic arch. That is the origin. Insertion, outer surface of the ramus of the mandible. So this is the chewer, meaning of the masseter, from which this word is derived. Nerve supply, masseteric nerve from anterior division of mandibular nerve. Again, nerve supply is easy to remember. This essay itself is an easy to remember. So nerve supply from the anterior, all the muscles are supplied by anterior division of mandibular nerve, except one muscle, that is the medial pterygoid, which is supplied by the trunk of the mandibular nerve. Action, strong elevator of the mandible, otherwise closing the mouth. So all, again it is easy to remember, all the three muscles elevate the mandible except one muscle, that is lateral pterygoid, which will open the mouth or the depressor of the mandible. Now we will move on to the next muscle, temporalis. Temporalis is a fan shape. That means that is not the ceiling fan, the hand fans. So it is in the shape of the fan. Origin, from the floor of the temporal fossa below the inferior temporal line, except the zygomatic bone and from the overlying temporal fascia. So this as if like a double origin from the fascia above it and from the floor. So in this we have seen in the last class the boundaries and contents of temporal and infratemporal fossa. So this is the temporal fossa and this is below this, that is the infratemporal fossa. Temporal fossa communicates with the infratemporal fossa behind the zygomatic arch. Boundaries, if you see, this is the superior temporal line. This temporalis muscle takes origin below the inferior temporal line. Are you observing this inferior temporal line nicely shown? Below that it will take origin and also from the temporal fascia. So this is again clearly shown that fan shaped muscle. So this is the shape of the fan, hand fans, and below the inferior temporal line, that is the origin. Insertion, this is inserted into the coronoid process, outer surface, tip of the coronoid process and outer surface, extending to the medial border of the coronoid process and extending slightly to the ramus of the anterior border of the ramus of the mandible. So can you observe from this picture, if this muscle acts, what will be the movement of the temporomandibular joint? Again, it will elevate this mandible and also retraction of the mandible. Taking origin from behind like this, it will retract the mandible behind. So it is a strong retractor of the mandible. First we will see the insertion. Fibers form a tendon which is inserted to, in the picture we have seen, inserted into the coronoid process of the mandible, involving its tip, medial surface and anterior border, slightly extending into the anterior border of the ramus of the mandible. So again it is clearly shown, this is the origin and this is the insertion. Coronoid process inserted into the tip, medial surface and outer border of the coronoid process, extending to the outer border of the ramus of the mandible. And this is, are you observing this? How to dissect this temporalis is shown clearly in this picture. So when you start the dissection of the muscles of mastication, first over the outer surface of the ramus of the mandible, you will see the masseter muscle. Then to see the temporalis muscle, you have to cut the zygomatic arch. Then only you will see clearly the origin and insertion of the temporalis muscle. Then now if you cut through the temporalis muscle and open the infratemporal fossa, you will be seeing the pterygoid muscles. That is the way you have to dissect the muscles of mastication. Now supply, as I have told previously, all the muscles are supplied by the anterior division of the mandibular nerve. So this temporalis is supplied by the deep temporal branches, which are the branches of the anterior division of the mandibular nerve. Actions of the temporalis, it elevates the mandible, its posterior fibers help retraction of the mandible, and both sides muscle, one side temporalis acting alternatively with the other side temporalis, help in the side to side movements of the mandible. In the chewing, side to side movements of the mandible, you should have observed, that is done by the temporalis muscles of both sides. So we have completed the temporalis muscle. Now we will move on to the pterygoid muscles. Lateral pterygoid. It is the key muscle of the region because of its important relations. What relation is mainly the mandibular nerve is situated in the infratemporal fossa. Its branches arise in relation to the lateral pterygoid muscle. Some branches from the upper border, some branches from the lower border, and some branches, one branch in between the two heads of the lateral pterygoid. So this lateral pterygoid is considered as the key muscle of this region. So lateral pterygoid arises by two heads, upper and lower. Upper head arises from the infratemporal surface and infratemporal crest of the greater wing of sphenoid. So what is this infratemporal surface of greater wing of sphenoid? What is its relation to the infratemporal fossa? So you should recollect the last class, infratemporal fossa. So this is the roof of infratemporal fossa. So from that upper head arises. Lower head arises from the lateral surface of the lateral pterygoid plate. So this is the medial boundary of the infratemporal fossa, lateral pterygoid plate. So another head arises from this lateral surface of the lateral pterygoid plate. So this is the infratemporal fossa. So this temporal fossa is continuous with the infratemporal fossa below the zygomatic arch. To view the infratemporal fossa, you have to remove the mandible clearly. So this is the infratemporal fossa. So this is the roof, that is the infratemporal surface of greater wing of sphenoid. Medially is the lateral pterygoid plate. Front is the maxilla. So you can see the contents of the infratemporal fossa. This is the lateral pterygoid muscle and this is the medial pterygoid muscle. And this is the buccinator, that is the parotid duct piercing the buccinator muscle. So first now we will see the, so here is the temporalis is reflected. So to see the pterygoid muscle, you have to cut the coronoid process like this. Then you will be seeing the two pterygoid muscles clearly. Now observe the lateral pterygoid muscle first. So one head is arising from the roof of infratemporal surface of greater wing. Another head is from the lateral surface of the lateral pterygoid plate. Are you seeing the insertion? It is partly inserted to the neck of the mandible and it is even inserted inside the joint like this, inserted into the articular disc of the temporomandibular joint. That's how it helps in the depression of the mandible or the opening of the mouth. So insertion, both heads proceed backward and laterally and it is inserted mainly to a depression in front of the neck of the mandible and partly to the capsule and articular disc of the temporomandibular joint. Now supplied by a branch from the anterior division of mandibular nerve. Same lateral pterygoid muscle, one head, upper head from the roof of infratemporal fossa, another head from the lateral pterygoid plate. Both are inserted into the articular disc. Actions, depression of the mandible or opening of the mouth by pulling forward the head of the mandible together with the articular disc. So now we have completed the lateral pterygoid muscle. Now we will see the medial pterygoid muscle. Medial pterygoid muscle also consists of two heads. Now this head is, one is large deep head and another is small superficial head. Deep head arises from the medial surface of lateral pterygoid plate. So students should note lateral pterygoid and medial pterygoid both arise from lateral pterygoid plate only. One from lateral surface and other from the medial surface. Superficial head from the tuberosity of the maxilla and the pyramidal process of the palatine bone. Now you should recollect the maxilla is the front boundary of the infratemporal fossa. So from this superficial head arises. So pterygoid muscles take origin from the boundaries of infratemporal fossa. That is the way we have to remember the origin of pterygoid muscles. Insertion, both heads pass downward, backward and laterally inserted into the medial surface of the ramus and the angle of the mandible, below and behind the mandibular foramen and mylohyoid groove. So this is inner surface or medial surface of the ramus. Outer surface of the ramus is masseter muscle. Inner surface of the ramus is medial pterygoid muscles. So both M we have to remember. Now supply, this is the one muscle which is supplied by the trunk of the mandibular nerve. All the other muscles are supplied by the anterior division of mandibular nerve. Actions, so as like all muscles, this also elevates. This is the protractor of mandible. Retractor of mandible is temporalis. Both the pterygoid muscles, both lateral pterygoid and medial pterygoid muscles help in the side-to-side movements of the mandible when they act alternatively. So that is the medial pterygoid muscle. Now we have completed the 4 muscles of mastication. So in this masseter is not given. So masseter from the zygomatic arch to the outer surface of the ramus of the mandible. Temporalis from the floor of the temporal fossa inserted to the coronoid process. Lateral pterygoid from the roof and from the lateral surface of lateral pterygoid plate. Insertion neck of mandible and into the articular disc of temporomandibular joint. Medial pterygoid muscle from the maxilla, one head, another head from the medial surface of lateral pterygoid plate. So both pterygoids take origin from lateral pterygoid plate. Insertion of medial pterygoid inserted to the inner surface of the ramus of the mandible. Nerve supply, all the muscles are supplied by anterior division of the mandibular nerve except medial pterygoid, which is supplied by the trunk of the mandibular nerve. Actions, all the muscles help in elevation of the mandible except lateral pterygoid, which causes the depression of the mandible. And temporalis is a retractor of mandible, medial pterygoid is the protractor of the mandible. Both temporalis and pterygoids help in the side-to-side movements of the mandible. So we have completed the muscles of mastication class. The other contents of infratemporal fossa, that is the mandibular nerve, maxillary artery, we will see in the next classes. So those who have not subscribed to the channel, do subscribe now and keep watching the videos. And don't forget to press the like button and share button of the channel of the video also. Thank you.